Crypto Kids, you need to watch out for this. What I'm about to show you is two different charts. These two charts are going to cause the banana season that we've all been waiting for. It's just the timing is going to be quite different. So we will cover these two charts. I hope you enjoy the analysis. I think it's pretty cool. But with that said, let's get into it. You can destroy the like button now or after I finish the analysis, completely up to you. And subscribe to become a crypto kid if you are not already for daily crypto content and mostly technical analysis. So let's jump into the charts and cover the first one, which is going to be looking at the Fed's balance sheets. Why is this a chart that I'm going into today? Well, JP Morgan mentioned that in 6 days' time, when the Fed is doing their famous FOMC meeting, they expect Fed Chair Powell to state that, well, QT will end. But what is QT? QT is short for quantitative tightening. The white line is the central bank of the US, which is the Federal Reserve, and this line represents the amount of assets that the central bank holds. In short, if they are selling assets, they are doing the opposite of what we want. We want them to inject liquidity. We want them to buy up assets like they did in the previous cycle. 80% of global liquidity comes from central bank reserves or central bank balance sheets, and this white line represents that. In the past cycle, we've had the most money printing that any of us in our lifetime has experienced. This led to the drastic rally on Bitcoin. In this cycle, you will notice that we haven't experienced quantitative easing, which is when the Fed decides to add assets to its balance sheet. So QT, which is the reduction of the assets, according to JP Morgan, should be ending next week, meaning that in the next few months, we could start seeing the Fed slowly start to accumulate assets to its balance sheet. The last time we saw this happen was, so if we go to the last cycle, in 2018, the Fed was cutting their balance sheets, and we saw a small pump to the upside on Bitcoin. When QE began, for a few months, we consolidated. But following a massive QE, we experienced the rally, the banana season, which every single crypto investor is longing for and wishes to be back. So here we go. This is what I want to state. I think the price action, and shout out to Benjamin Cohen for pointing this out, I think the price action all the way here, accompanied by quantitative tightening, is actually a repeat of what happened in 2018. Which was quantitative tightening and then price action to the upside. So the duration obviously is the biggest difference. During these pumps to the upside, I mean, this was only from December 2018 all the way until August of 2019. So roughly 8 months or 9 months. This pump that Bitcoin has experienced was a pump from 2022 all the way until 2025 October. So 3 years and 9 months. That's a big difference. When I go to the second chart, though, it all kind of makes more sense. This chart represents the business cycle. The business cycle looks at different economic metrics in the US and determines a bull run or a bear market depending on these economic indicators. I will bring on Mr. Business Cycle himself from Real Vision very soon on this channel, so stay tuned for that interview for an in-depth explanation. But the gist of it is, it looks at economic indicators. If those economic indicators start looking good, then it points out that a bull run may be beginning, vice versa. Look at 2018, 2019, where we pointed out QT was happening, and then we reversed into QE, obviously. But look at that, the distance between the yellow dot and the green dot. Okay, and then look at the business cycle. That was that price duration right here. That point in the business cycle marks the yellow line, the yellow circle that we highlighted. And if we go into the business cycle today, it's the same. It just took longer to get to where we wanted to get to in relative to the last cycle. Look at the yellow dot and look at the green dot. So TechDev, shout out to TechDev also, he marks that, just like Benjamin Cohen, this part and this part are the same. It's just there's a time difference. So as soon as quantitative easing is introduced, And that could happen over the next few months. Q2 2026 is likely we could see a drastic rally in assets. But that doesn't mean that we can't have a crash first. In the last cycle, we experienced a crash potentially, and then a run to the upside in Q2. And quite frankly, I believe that to be the base case scenario based off of the recent tea that we've conducted. Now we zoom in. Now we zoom into the price action, and then we look into why I think a drop is going to happen first before that ultimate pump. Double top, double top, double top. Below the bull and bear market support band. Below the bull and bear market support band. Below the bull and bear market support band. 54 simple moving average. I think we're going to head to 100K. I think 100K is going to happen. And as soon as the fifth, I'm still buying at 100K, by the way. I have a limit order on weeks, which you can sign up to using the link in the description down below, or Pinex for trading bots. Claim that incredible bonus. I'm going to be buying Bitcoin if we drop to 100K. But the moment we lose the 54 simple moving average, then I think it's going to happen in Q1 of 2026. I'm expecting a drop into the mid 70s. And then as soon as quantitative easing is introduced, then we can see that continuation, right? So overall, this is something I thought would be interesting to cover. And that would mean altcoin season also happens, but it just happens at a much later date than we anticipated. Everybody that says, okay, what happens to the 4-year cycles? Why are we not doing what we should do there? See, the thing is, liquidity and the 4-year cycles have been aligned together coincidentally in these previous 3 bull cycles. It was just a coincidence that they were all, going together in the 4 years. But this monetary cycle, like you saw on the business cycle chart, is completely different to the other ones. Hence, I think we can see an extension. I think we can go into that 5th year. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, destroy the like button. And with that said, see you guys on another update video tomorrow. Bye-bye.